أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. We seek refuge in God from Satan the rejected. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Salãmun Alaykum. Peace be upon you. God willing, today we want to have our English Quran study session starting from verse 58 of Surah 24. Previously, we had a technical issue with the YouTube. We didn't have audio, but God willing, the problem is resolved now, inshallah. So let us start from verse 58. Here we have etiquette, 2 prayers mentioned by name. O you who believe, permission must be requested by your servants and the children who have not attained puberty before entering your homes. This is to be done in 3 instances: before the dawn prayer, at noon when you change your clothes to rest, and after the night prayer. Okay, mashallah, mashallah. I see that. Okay, the problem is resolved with YouTube. These are 3 private times for you. At other times, it is not wrong for you or them to mingle with one another. God thus clarifies the revelations for you. God is omniscient, most wise. So, subhanAllah, this is one of the verses in the Quran that we see 2 basically prayers mentioned by name. One of them is the dawn prayer, which is mentioned in this verse, Salat al-Fajr. And the other one is the night prayer, which is mentioned in the translation, and we have it here, Salat al-Isha. So they're mentioned by name. So 2 contact prayers mentioned in the Quran, very, very clearly. And there are also 3 other contact prayers as well, so which are mentioned in other verses of the Quran, which Dr. Rashad Khalif, the Messenger of the Covenant, very clearly discussed it. Okay, so just give me 1 second. Okay, so this verse very clearly, so we have these 2 contact prayers mentioned by name in them. So let's continue. Once the children reach puberty, they must ask permission before entering, like those who became adults before them have asked permission before entering. God thus clarifies his revelations for you. God is omniscient, most wise. So obviously these are commandments which are given to us in Quran, and it is talking about the children here reaching puberty, and the fact that they must ask permission before entering, into the room of the parents in their privacy, obviously. And there is a reason for that, and God has told us, in the Quran that they should do that, and it's very important, to abide by these rules. So, inshallah, let's continue with "You shall dress modestly." Okay. So we know that these subtitles which are mentioned here are, put there by God's Messenger of the Covenant, Dr. Rashad Khalifa. But the reason that they are there is to show us that these verses have certain, meanings, and there are like certain topics being discussed in those verses. And these subtitles help us a lot to understand those verses even better, inshallah. So here is talking about the elderly women who do not expect to get married commit nothing wrong by relaxing their dress code, provided they do not reveal too much of their bodies. To maintain modesty is better for them. God is here, nor. So obviously we know about the dress code in the Quran for the women, which is they should cover their chest, they should lengthen their garments, right? It is said in the Quran that do not reveal any part of the body which is not necessary, obviously. And then this dress code, which is already mentioned in the Quran, for elderly women, specifically the type of elderly women who do not expect to get married, they are allowed by God to relax their dress code, actually to a certain limit. What is that certain limit? Provided they do not reveal too much of their bodies. And again, being submitted to God alone, people are going to pay attention to these verses, obviously, to have a better life, right? So there is no doubt about it. So the verses have been mentioned, and people have a brain to think about them, and they can decide what they want to do with the verses, right? So it is the fact of abiding by the laws of Quran, so that inshallah we have a wonderful life, both in this life and in the hereafter. And also at the end of the verse, it says that to maintain modesty is better for them. So that's also clear that modesty needs to be paid attention to for those women. It's better for them. It's better than, in the sense of relaxing their dress code. obviously to a limit that is allowed by God. So the verses are very detailed and they're very clearly mentioned. Be sure your meal is lawful. The blind is not to be blamed, the crippled is not to be blamed, nor the handicapped is to be blamed, just as you are not to be blamed for eating at your homes. So the places that you're allowed to eat, and the meal is lawful for you is mentioned in this verse. Or the homes of your fathers, or the homes of your mothers, or the homes of your brothers, or the homes of your sisters, or the homes of your father's brothers, or the homes of your father's sisters, or the homes of your mother's brothers, or the homes of your mother's sisters. The fact that we have like these 4 different kinds is that in Arabic, they are different from one another. In English, we have the word uncle and aunt, which is both for the father, like uncle is both for the father on the father's side and the brother on the father's side and the brother on the mother's side. The same goes with aunt, which is the sister on mother's side and the sister on the father's side. But in Arabic, there are 4 different words. That's why we have like the differentiation between them. That's how detailed Arabic is. And that's why it was chosen as the language, for the final testament, that is from God, obviously. So the homes that belong to you and you possess their keys, or the homes of your friends. You commit nothing wrong by eating together or as individuals. When you enter any home, you shall greet each other, a greeting from God that is blessed and good. So obviously this is something that is ordered to us, right? As an order, we are going to abide by these rules and laws. And it says that you shall greet each other, a greeting from God that is blessed and good. God thus explains the revelations for you that you may understand. SubhanAllah. Very detailed, very, very clear. The true believers are those who believe in God and His messenger. So this verse clearly refers to God's messenger of the covenant, Dr. Rashad Khalifa, as we read in the footnote. So let's read it together, then we come to the verse. It says this verse refers to God's messenger of the covenant by adding the geometrical value of Rashad, 505, plus the value of Khalifa, 725, plus the verse number 62, we get 1292, a multiple of 19 times 68. So we know that this verse clearly refers to God's messenger of the covenant. And so it says that the true believers are those who believe in God and His messenger. And when they are with Him in a community meeting, they do not leave Him without permission. So it was a great responsibility for those people who were at the time of the messenger of the covenant, Dr. Rashad Khalifa. And it's very, very important that those people would have asked for permission when they were with the messenger, right? They couldn't just like leave without asking for permission, because if they did, then they would have created problem for themselves. It's not like, for example, the messenger would have been sad about them leaving or anything like that. It is the fact that God has ordered the believers to do exactly what, as God has ordered the believers to do, right? So it's very, very important when we are obeying the messenger, we are obeying God, right? Because the messenger is basically the what do we call it? As Dr. Rashad Khalifa said, the mouthpiece of God, in the sense of, the messenger is exactly saying what God, wanted him to say regarding the transferring and the conveying of the message to the people. So that is what is important. So those people had a lot of responsibility, and they had to ask for permission, from the messenger. And later the verse continues, those who ask permission are the ones who do believe in God and His messenger. So this shows that if they ask for permission from the messenger of God, this shows that they are the ones that really do believe. And again, there is emphasis on it. They do believe in God and His messenger. That shows that they do believe in God and His messenger. If they ask your permission, now this is talking about this is addressing the messenger of the covenant. If they ask your permission in order to tend to some of their affairs, you may grant permission to whomever you wish. So it was given as an option to the messenger of the covenant that he could grant permission to whomever he wished, right? So that they could just tend to some of their affairs, obviously, to go do something else. And Now, this is really interesting. And ask God to forgive them. So the messenger asked God to forgive those believers who have left and asked for permission. So we see how important it was, to ask for permission from, the messenger of the covenant. And it's really interesting, when you listen to the audios of the Quran studies of Dr. Rashad Khalifa, the messenger of the covenant, that we have them on the channel as well. You see that sometimes some people are acting in a very weird way, and they're just like arguing with the messenger for no reason. And that also, down the road, some of those people prove to be, hypocrites. And actually, we know that happened. But that's really interesting that how, God exposes those people. So you cannot fake it. You can't fake it, because in Quran, you very clearly see that if you're not truly a believer, you wouldn't be able to fake it for a very long time. You might be able to just like have it for a short run, but then in the end, you are going to be exposed, and you can't do anything about it. And so it's very important. But if you are a real believer, then the energy and that, that feeling of having faith comes from within, and that helps you to continue on the path of submission. And right now, look at the world. How many people are there? A large population, more than 8 billion people, and how many of them are really, believers in submission to God alone? So right now, it's just very, very limited number of people compared to the population of the world that are submitters to God alone. And obviously, back then, at the time of Dr. Rashad Khalifa, the messenger of the covenant, the situation was the same, probably even less than what the number is right now. But what I'm trying to say is that, believing in God and His messenger is something that you have to have from within. And may God help us to stay steadfast on this path, because as you stay steadfast on this path, this is going to help you both in this life and in the hereafter. How's it going? So what are the incentives? Okay, in this life, you're going to have perfect health, perfect wealth, perfect dignity, guaranteed dignity, right? No sadness, no fear. You're going to be protected, fully protected. And it's not only mentioned in the Quran, it was also mentioned in the Old Testament and the New Testament as well. For example, in the Psalms of David, it was mentioned that that was in one of the Psalms, lest you dash your foot against a stone. So the angels of God are going to protect you by the will of God, obviously. So if you really and truly believe in God and His messenger, then you do exactly as God and the messenger of God are telling you to do. And then you would enjoy the results of that, both in this world and in the hereafter, inshallah. So 63, do not treat them, now this is very, very important. Do not treat the messenger's request as you treat each other's request. God is fully aware of those among you who sneak away using flimsy excuses. Let them beware those who disobey His orders, for a disaster may strike them or a severe retribution. So now, this messenger could refer both to Dr. Rashad Khalifa, the messenger of the covenant, or Prophet Muhammad at the time that Quran was being obviously revealed to him. So this verse was one of the verses which was revealed during the time of Prophet Muhammad, right? So those people who were around Prophet Muhammad, or those people who were around Dr. Rashad Khalifa, the messenger of the covenant, obviously had a very, very heavy responsibility on their shoulders. So one of the things is that do not treat the messenger's request as you treat each other's request. This is very, very important. So right now, at this time, at this age that we are in, I'm talking about September 6, 2025, we don't have like a messenger of God among us, right? We don't have a messenger of God among us at this point. But maybe it would be the case. We don't know. Maybe it would be the case that there would be a messenger in the future. Maybe there will be, maybe there will not be. Obviously, I'm talking about after Dr. Rashad Khalifa, the messenger of the covenant. And if there is a messenger, after the time that we are talking about right now, then this verse would also apply to that messenger of God as well. So the people who are at the time of that messenger, potentially, if there is a messenger and the people around him are at that time, they must abide by these rules. So do not treat the messenger's request as you treat each other's requests. So very, very important. God is fully aware of those among you who sneak away using flimsy excuses. Flimsy excuses means what? Just make excuses to just not do what the messenger of God has asked you to do. Let them beware those who disobey his orders of the messenger of God, right? For a disaster may strike them or a severe retribution. So it's very, very, that's why I'm saying that it's a heavy duty on the, it was a heavy duty on the shoulders of the people around Dr. Rashad Khalifa or the people around Prophet Muhammad, or potentially if, and I'm saying if there is going to be another messenger after Dr. Rashad Khalifa, on the shoulders of those people who are going to be around that messenger of God. So very, very important verse. And the last verse of this surah, absolutely to God belongs everything in the heavens and the earth. He fully knows every condition you may be in. The day you are returned to him, he will inform them of everything they had done. God is fully aware of all things. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. This is very important. He fully knows every condition you may be in, So being in submission, it's a great responsibility. It's a great privilege, obviously, and a great responsibility at the same time. So, I'm thinking about these things, obviously, as when you are in submission and the days of your life are passing by and you're thinking about the things which are in the submission and you have to pay attention to them. The laws, the regulations, the rules, you have to abide by them. And when you abide by them, you see how beautiful your life becomes. And if for whatever reason you make a mistake and unintentionally or intentionally for that matter, I would say like submitters try not to do things intentionally. I'm sure that if that happens, it would be unintentional. But then if that happens, you see how bad the results would be, right? You will be pinched. And when the pinches happen, it's really disproportionate to what you were not, paying attention to. Meaning that if you really paid attention to those rules and regulations, to those laws, and you didn't break them unintentionally, then why would you have to pay for that? You know what I'm saying? When it happens and the pinch happens, then you see that it was really not worth it, right? So it's really important that you pay attention to these things. And God is fully aware of every situation that you may be in. So if it is a test, if it is an admission test and you are new to submission, if there is an admission test, well, it's mandatory. The test is mandatory. There's nothing that can be done about it, right? You have to pass it and you have to be steadfast in passing those mandatory tests. But then pinches happen because of us. We make a mistake and we go out of God's kingdom, we go into the dominion of Satan, then we have to pay for it. And when we pay for it, then again, we learn and inshallah we come back. And then when we come back, inshallah, we don't do it again so that you don't have to pay for it again. So then this is really, really important. And God is absolutely aware of all the situations, of all the servants, of all his servants. And God is aware of everyone, everyone and everything. So we should pay attention to this and we should try to, be steadfast on the path of God and hold on to our faith and try to, inshallah, increase our knowledge about submission so that we have a much deeper faith to understand things better and better every day, inshallah. So let's start Surah 25, Surah Al-Furqan, the statute book. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Most blessed is the one who revealed the statute book to his servant so he can serve as a warner to the world. So statute book refers to Quran, obviously. And so it means Furqan, it's the statute book. The one to whom belongs all sovereignty of the heavens and the earth. He never had a son, nor does he have any partners in sovereignty. He created everything in exact measure. He precisely designed everything. Subhanallah. So the whole sovereignty belongs to God in all the heavens. So when it says heavens, the heavens means like the universes. So we have 7 universes. We know that, right? So there are 7 universes, and when it says the earth, this is also interesting because it is referring to this earth that we are on, because we know that 6 other earth-like planets are also created. They're identical to this earth, but there is no life on them. I'm not sure whether we have found any of those things, but we have found, we have discovered, obviously, some of the planets out there that are that they have like water liquid on them. They have like a atmosphere type thing on them, and they're in the habitable zone from the star that around which they are orbiting. So they're almost similar to Earth, but I'm not sure whether they are exactly the Earth-like. I've searched it online, but I didn't exactly find any planet that is exactly like planet Earth. But God says in the Quran, that 6 other planets are also created identical to Earth. However, there is no life on any of those planets, and this is really, really important. Many people think that it's impossible not to have life on any other planet, but based on the Quran, we know that this is sci-fi, this is science fiction. It doesn't exist. Life is only on the surface of the planet Earth, and it is created. The life is created, also evolved, but then the evolution was also a divinely guided process. It didn't just happen haphazardly. So the one refers to God. It is with capital O, the one to whom belongs all sovereignty of the heavens and the earth, right? The heavens, all 7 universes, and the earth, referring to this earth that we are on. He never had a son. This is just like, thinking about it is just blasphemous, right? How could people think that God had a son, right? When God says in the Quran that he never had a son. So this is blasphemous, and these people who are calling themselves Christians, they're not following the things, that the message that Jesus Christ, son of Mary, gave to them. So he was simply a servant of God. He was a prophet of God. Obviously, he was born to Virgin Mary. We know that he spoke in his cradle, from infancy he spoke. We have those verses in the Quran. We know that he had miracle, obviously, by God's leave, but that's it. That's it. Nothing more about that, right? But these people, like, who are worshiping Jesus Christ, and some people think that he's the son of God. Na'uzubillah, we should all seek refuge in God. Some people think that he's God. Na'uzubillah. Again, we should all seek refuge in God. These are blasphemous things that are being said. And look at the people around you, those people who call themselves Christians and believe in these nonsense, that thinking that Jesus Christ was the son of God or God himself. Na'uzubillah. Again, this is blasphemy. Look at their life. It's really miserable, So he never had a son. God never had a son, nor does he have any partners in sovereignty. So that's it. That seals the deal, that there's only one God and he has no partners. End of discussion. That's it. He's the only God. That's it. He created everything in exact measure. He precisely designed everything. This is really beautiful. Let's look at this. When we launch astronauts into space, we measure precisely the amount of food, water, oxygen, and other needs throughout the journey. Similarly, God has launched us into space on board a spaceship Earth, and he has designed all kinds of renewable provisions for us and other creatures, a perfect design. Think, for example, of the symbiotic relationship between us and the plants. We use the oxygen they produce in photosynthesis, while they use the carbon dioxide we produce in respiration. Obviously, when you are exhaling, you're producing carbon dioxide, and that is what the plants need for photosynthesis. So they get it from us, and they give oxygen back in return. This is absolutely fantastic. Subhanallah. So look at this design. Now, even the astronauts that we send into the space, we cannot just like have some renewable systems on board the spaceship that we are sending them on, right? I mean by like renewable, they don't have like plants there. Their water is even filtered, and the food that they take with them is just packed and is like very specific type of food. Look at like the videos that are online. uh, I don't think you would even want to do it one day. One day might be fun, but more than that, it's just really, I really don't like it. You have no gravity. uh, Going to, even restroom is really difficult in space because there's no gravity. Things are really interesting up there. You cannot like take a shower as you take a shower on the surface of the planet Earth. The food is like a liquidish gel-like thing, and the oxygen that they have also something that is very limited, on the spaceship or on the international space station. What I mean is that, like in year 2025, no matter how much we have uh, um, scientifically and technologically we have advanced, we still are very, very primitive in these things. And if it is the will of God, we will have more knowledge to do things better, or even go, I don't know, to other planets to have like a sort of a habitation on Mars or something like that. But still, it doesn't make any difference that the fact is that there's only life on this planet. Even if we take it to the Mars, it doesn't mean that the life organically was created there. There is no life on the surface of any other planet or any moon of any other planet. So this is really food for thought that we can think about. 3, yet they set up beside him gods who do not create anything. They themselves are created and who possess no power to even harm or benefit themselves, nor do they possess any power to control life or death or resurrection. Yes, so like Muhammad, what uh, um, what power did Muhammad have? He didn't have any powers other than what like so he didn't technically have any power other than like a human, in the sense that Prophet Muhammad didn't have any miracle whatsoever other than the Quran, which was given to him. That's it, And Quran was a miracle during that time when the Arabs were at the height of, um, literature and rhythm and stuff related to the language. And Quran was given to Prophet Muhammad. That was miracle enough at that time, right? Flash forward to the year 1974, when Dr. Rashad Khalifa actually discovered the mathematical miracle of the Quran based on the number 19, and we have like a perpetual miracle which would exist until the end of the world, which is at the year 2280 AD. So the Quran, the mathematical miracle, you can look at it anytime and you can see that. And you can obviously understand it, and you can open it and put it in the calculator, and we have like lots of videos on the channel that you can look at. So the thing is that what I'm trying to say is that, for example, there were miracles given to, like some power given to Jesus, son of Mary, right? Well, that was by the will of God, that he could raise people from the dead, or um, uh, cure the blind or the leprous, right? That was by the will of God. It was not that like Jesus Christ has any specific power. Yet people set him up, like set Jesus Christ up as a God. Na'uzubillah. We should all seek refuge in God, and they're worshiping that person, right? So that's blasphemous, right? Now, in for example, Shia, they are giving like some powers to some saints, like for example, some good people like Ali, right? Ali ibn Abi Talib. But Ali didn't have any specific powers. He didn't. He was just like a single man. But you see that like in all their stories, in their hadith books, they are giving like so many powers to Ali, right? Or the power of intercession to prophets or messengers or saints. This is simply blasphemous. This is simply nonsense, and only God has the power. And those people that people give, power to them, they simply don't have any power, and it is being mentioned in the Quran. Yet they set up beside him gods who do not create anything. Muhammad didn't create anything. Ali didn't create anything. Jesus didn't create anything. They themselves are created. They were created by God. That's it. And who possess no power even to harm or benefit themselves. they couldn't do anything for themselves, right? They couldn't, well, they could harm themselves in the sense that do something wrong and getting the results of doing something wrong. But benefits, they couldn't provide any benefits to themselves. God is the one who gives benefit to the people, gives good things to the people. Nor do they possess any power to control life or death. Yes, I mean, even if, like Jesus Christ, I'm just talking about Jesus Christ because it was mentioned earlier, if Jesus Christ was able and allowed to, for example, raise Lazarus from the death, that was by the will of God. That's it. End of discussion. If God didn't will it, it wouldn't have happened. So it was not like Jesus had any specific power. Or on the other hand, death. Some people might think that, okay, some kings might have the power to give death to the people. No, those people are just put in those situations to, for example, do atrocity on the people, and people are killed in that situation. But that is also according to the will of God, that those people's time has come. If they were, like, for example, under 40, then it would be the blessing from God, and only because of the circumstances that is only known to God, that those people die under the age of 40 and they go directly to lower heaven, right? But those people who are killing them are the ones who are committing atrocity, and that's something that they have to pay for, and they will pay for it. They have already paid for it throughout the ages, talking about Pharaoh, or like other tyrants like Pharaoh, and talking about right now what is happening around the world. You see that, right? And also in the future, for that matter. I mean, future compared to the present time that we have. Or resurrection. And resurrection is only in the hand of God, and we know it is going to happen, and people are going to be resurrected. So everything technically is in the hand of God, subhanallah. Subhanallah. God be glorified. The disbelievers rebutted by the Quran's mathematical code. Those who disbelieve said this is a fabrication that he produced, Muhammad. So this refers to Muhammad. This is a fabrication that he produced with the help of some other people. They have uttered a blasphemy and a falsehood. So this, technically, if some people say that Quran is a fabrication that Muhammad created, this is a blasphemy. Blasphemy, if people do blasphemy, there's going to be consequences. Look at the lives of those people who are committing blasphemy, and there are consequences for them. They cannot run away. They have a miserable life, in this life. And you see it around you. There are many people who are denying this, denying these message of God, and you see how miserable they are, and they attribute those miseries that are happening in their life to just life. They say that it's just life. No, it is not. It's not just life. It is the things that you are doing, that there are consequences for those things that you are doing, or the words that you are saying. One of the things is a blasphemy, thinking that or saying that Quran is a fabrication. Well, Quran is the word of God, which was given to Prophet Muhammad, and through 23 years, by the mediation of Angel Gabriel, was released from the soul of Prophet Muhammad, was the real person, to the mind of Prophet Muhammad, and was written by his hand. So it is the word of God, and the mathematical miracle proves it beyond the shroud of a doubt. But if somebody says that, that's a blasphemy and a falsehood, and they have to pay for it. They also said tales from the past that he wrote down. Again, he refers to Muhammad. Tales from the past that he wrote down, they were dictated to him day and night. This is just blasphemy. Muhammad's contemporaries knew that he was a literate man, meaning that he was literate. He knew how to read and write. He was literate. Who could read and write. He wrote God's revelation with his own hand. Appendix 28, inshallah, if you want to have more information. Say, this was revealed by the one who knows the secret in the heavens and the earth. He's forgiving, most merciful. So here, the Quran's miraculous mathematical code, the incontrovertible answer to the disbelievers' claims, remained a divinely guarded secret for 1400 years. So this secret, the secrets with the capital S, refers to the miraculous mathematical code of the Quran, subhanallah. And we know how great and amazing and miraculous and fantastic this mathematical miracle is. God's messenger of the covenant was destined to unveil it by God's leave, to unveil the mathematical miracle of the Quran, the miraculous mathematical miracle of the Quran based on number 19. And this secret, and it is in Arabic, al-sir, that's basically the secret, that refers to the mathematical miracle. And right now we know what it is. So it was back then, it was a secret before the time that the messenger of the covenant revealed it to us by God's leave. But now we know what it is, subhanAllah. Typical utterance of disbelievers. And they said, how come this messenger eats the food and walks in the markets? If only an angel could come down with him to serve with him as a preacher. So see, this is how people think that, message right now. Look at the people around the world, Muslims, the corrupted Muslims, or the Jews, or the, Christians. They only when they think about the messengers of God, they have like fantastic pictures of these messengers. They think that they are some people above humanity. Well, actually, the truth of the matter is that they were not above the humanity. They were just like any other human being, with this difference that they were commissioned by God to be messengers, to convey a message from God to the people. That was it. So obviously they ate food, they walked in the market like any other, they had work, they had job, like Dr. Rashad Khalif, the messenger of the covenant. He was a biochemist, right? He had a PhD in biochemistry. So he was working, obviously, and like any other human being. And so this is really interesting, that by submission, that idea about messenger and messengership is redefined for you, and you understand it better. So many people still, when they think about Prophet Muhammad, they think that he was like above humanity, right? No, he was just like a mere man. He was just a human like the rest of us, right? And here, this is a challenge that they're putting to the messenger of God. If only an angel could come down with him to serve with him as a preacher. Another challenge. Or if only a treasure could be given to him. Or if only he could possess an orchard from which he eats. The transgressors also said another. So see, these are the challenges that they are putting to the messenger of God. And now they are just trying to create the slandering for the messenger of God. They're saying the transgressors also said, you are following a bewitched man. See, now they're done with their challenges that they are putting to the messenger of God. And they're saying that you are following a bewitched man, meaning that they want to bring excuses. Doesn't matter what you do, if the disbelievers don't want to believe, they won't believe. There is nothing that can be done about that. Note how they called you all kinds of names and how this led them astray, never to find their way back. So see, the messengers of God all the time during the history, you can read it in the Quran, that they have been called names. They have been said that they're crazy. They're just like following a wrong idea, things like that. But the people who did that couldn't really understand that messengership of the messenger, because they were really disbelievers. They couldn't understand it because they didn't want to understand that, and that's why they called messengers of God, all kinds of names. And how this led them astray, never to find their way back. Most blessed is the one who can, if he wills, give you much better than their demands, gardens with flowing streams and many mansions. So if God wanted, he would have done that, if it was the will of God, to give the messenger of God even better than the demands of the disbelievers, right? Gardens with flowing streams and many mansions. The reason that didn't happen was that the disbelievers were making excuses, not that it was like a challenge that if it was put to them, God knows better, right? If it was going to help them understand, God would have done that. That's why miracles are given to the messengers of God, right? But then still it's the same. Look at, for example, Moses. He had he had like a staff that turned into a serpent. But how many did really believe in that time? They still thought that, okay, this is just magic, right? At best, they thought that this is magic. So they couldn't understand, didn't make any difference. Even when they saw the miracle, they thought that this is magic because they were blind to it. So those challenges that they were putting to the messenger of God, if God wanted, he could have met them with even better than their demands, gardens with flowing streams and many mansions. But still, that was not going to solve the problem. Those people were not going to believe. The real reason, in fact, they have disbelieved in the hour, day of resurrection, and we have prepared for those who disbelieve in the hour a flaming hell. And with this, inshallah, I'm going to end my portion of the session. Thank you for listening to me. May God bless you, brothers and sisters. Thank you. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah. God bless you.
MashaAllah, brother. God bless you.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Sorry, guys, for the technical issue. Alhamdulillah, it is resolved. Any comments or questions about the verses for today? Okay. So if you guys have no comments or questions, if you would all agree, God willing, we can conclude the study. What do you think?
Inshallah, I don't have any comments. MashaAllah, you cover everything.
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah.
Yes, inshallah.
Okay. All right. So thank you all for joining us today. Thanks. We should thank Brother Khalis for reminding us that the YouTube didn't have an audio, and alhamdulillah, right now the file has an audio, so the audience, when they want to listen to it, they can listen to it, inshallah, later offline, obviously. God willing, our next English Quran study session is going to be next Saturday, 10 a.m. California time. Until that time, may God be with you. Peace be upon you. Salāmun Alaykum.
God bless you all. Salāmun Alaykum.
Assalamu alaikum, God bless you.